Leahy here, your rapid renovation expert. So all of the renovation work is done, yippee, and you are ready to sell. It's now time to pass those reins over to a real estate agent. So at this stage, on top of your legal fees and your stamp duties and your commission to your agent, it can sometimes feel like a bit of a bitter and hard pill to swallow. But are there any other options? You have to sell through an agent, right? Well, not quite. There is another option, one that involves selling the property yourself. Yes, you can be your own agent, absolutely. But before you jump in on this idea, there's some really important things that you should consider. So as tempting as it may be to bypass the agent and save thousands and thousands of dollars on commission, dollars that would be staying in your pocket, there's quite a bit of homework that needs to be done first. After all, a real estate agent, they are in the business because they are skilled and they have the resources to sell your property, right? And sell it fast. So, what's the first thing you have to do to decide whether you're going to try your hand at being your own sales agent? So, skill, time and money aside, the very first thing you need before you even think about marketing your property is a contract of sale. Without this contract, you can't show off your home legally. You should already have a lawyer or a solicitor in your team. That should already be set up. So leave it up to them to draft up this nitty-gritty detail in your contract. That is exactly what they're there for. So skipping the agent can make that whole sales process a lot more direct naturally, because it'll just be you dealing with one other person and your solicitors. No agent, just a good lawyer. Having said that, a good agent will make this whole process run very, very smoothly. So you probably won't mind having that extra person to deal with. But if you're still keen on going solo, here are some other things that I really want you to consider. I want you to be very aware of all the pitfalls that could be there for you. So selling your property without an agent could save you a real lot of money, but it could also cost you. How, you ask? Well, you might initially save some cash because you don't have to pay the commission, but what if the property takes way too long to sell? Remember, the longer you hold the property, the less profit you'll have because of interest repayments and other fees and charges. So how do you make sure that your property doesn't get stuck in this sales limbo? You know what? I say this all the time, but communication skills are essential, and it's no different here. So before you embark on a non-agent route, remember to brush up on your comm skills. They're super important if you're acting as your own agent. Those negotiation skills, all of the property research you've done will come in handy too, as will your confidence, because there's no point going solo if you don't have the time, effort and the skills. So polish these skills up. Think about it the way a real estate agent presents themselves at an open home. Observe and learn from them and how they do the things that they do, for good agents at least. The worst thing you can do is show a potential buyer that you're an amateur. Buyers won't take you seriously and may even try to squeeze a little bit of a bargain out of you. So you need to show confidence and have the skills to back it up. So what do you need for that? Well, before you can even show off your confidence and your negotiation skills, you really need to set aside the time to learn them. So being your own agent takes time. And this is one of the biggest bumps in the road that you can come across when deciding whether you should sell the property yourself. You actually need to have enough time that you can dedicate to selling the property. This means time brushing up on your skills, time doing your research, and time to actually market the property and be there for inspections. Think about your lifestyle right at this moment. Are you still working full-time? Do you have kids that need to go to soccer practice on a Saturday? If you can't do open homes on weekends, it might be really, really difficult to get your property out there and for buyers to get a chance to see it. So ask yourself this: how much is your time worth? Time is absolutely a luxury and one that you might not have. So you need to weigh up how much time you'll need to spend on selling your own property against how much you'll potentially save in commission fees and see if it's really worth it to you. I tell you, there is no point getting to the finish line only to be putting a sloppy effort in selling the property just because you couldn't give enough of your time. You won't give the property the attention it deserves, and your profits might be affected because of exactly that. Now, the pros of having an agent is that their day job is all about selling your home. They have the time to put into the campaign, and that's exactly what you need to keep in mind. Setting a realistic price is another tricky thing. This can be extremely tricky if you're going to be your own agent. If you've already done all of the proper budgeting before starting your renovation or even buying the property, you'll have already worked out how much you're hoping to get for the finished project. But what if along the way you tweaked a few things in your renovation and your renovation could actually be worth more because of it? You might still sell yourself short if you're relying on a budget estimate that you did before even starting your renovation. Also, if you're just relying on general market values, you might not get the best result possible, and that's because the value might not be a true reflection of the actual finishes that you've popped in. Sure, it might compare your place to another 3-bedroom house that also had a recent bathroom renovation, but it won't look at the fact that your bathroom looks like a luxury oasis with all of the other trimmings that come with your upgrade. Which leads me to the next point, accessing the market resources. These days, a lot of advertising is done online. This makes it easier for you to become your own agent because you don't have to spend hefty amounts on flyers and brochures and print advertising. But having said that, a proper real estate agent or a professional real estate agent will still have the upper hand when it comes to marketing your property. Not only do they have all the experience to know what works in a particular area for a particular property, but they're also able to reach a wider audience as they have their reputation and their database behind them. Now, sometimes your ideal buyer, and that's the one who's willing to pay you exactly what you want for that property, won't even realise your property's on sale when it's being marketed privately. The buyer was out there and ready to hand over the big bucks for you, but you missed the opportunity because you missed them. And sometimes the buyer might not be comfortable handing over such a large sum of money when they feel like they're not dealing with a professional agent. I've said before that first impressions count, and if you have a hand-painted for sale sign in your front yard, it could actually put off quite a few buyers. But if you're confident in your ability to advertise your property, if you're confident in your ability to reach the right people, and if you're confident in your ability to communicate and negotiate, then being your own agent might be right up your alley. But just keep in mind that although an agent may cost you money, they can also reduce the risk, reduce the hassle, and get you more money on sale day for your property. Being your own agent is absolutely not for everyone. Sometimes you just don't have the time or the patience to deal with the process, and sometimes the sell price won't be worth the savings that you think you're going to gain. Thanks for joining me. Did you know I wrote a book all about renovating to create wealth and freedom in your life? I've added the link below in the description for you. Enjoy.